America, we need to do a history lesson here real quick, and I want you to take notes if you can, because this is stuff you never learned in school. The problem, the emergency in 1917 was war. The progressives at the time wanted war because they thought that a bloody, awful war would crush all of the imperfections of the past, and there would be and I'm quoting, a collective salvation for the people of Europe and the whole world. Isn't that nice? Wilson also saw an opportunity in war. Never waste an emergency. He campaigned against war, and then he was sworn in for a second term. A month later, we were at war. But he had to reverse the idea of the American people. They didn't want war. So he created, on April 13, 1917, Woodrow Wilson, evil man, created the Committee on Public Information. He appointed this guy, George Krill. He was a journalist, as the chairman of the Committee on Public Information. Journalist, you better listen to this history lesson because you didn't learn it. As Krill points out in his book, How We Advertised America, he said, back of the firing line, back of armies and navies, back of the great supply depot, another struggle waged with the same intensity and almost equal significance attaching to its victories and its defeats. It was the fight for the minds of men, for the conquest of their convictions, and the battle line ran through every home in the country. Got it? The country was at war. But there was another war going on, grabbing the minds of the American people. On censorship, he wrote, censorship of the press, he said, with the nation in arms, the need was not so much to keep the press from doing the hurtful things as to get them to do the helpful things. It wasn't servants we wanted, it was associates. Go back and look at what the president is saying now. He wants associates, he wants partners, and don't you treat Fox like a real institution. You're not like them. Krill was assisted by two close advisors to Wilson. These guys, woo-wee! America, you need to learn about them. Did I just sound like that Cajun chef? Edward Bernays, and Walter Lippmann. Every journalist in America. You want to know why journalism doesn't get it? You know why journalism isn't on top of it? Because they have read Walter Lippmann. This guy is almost as evil, if not more evil, than this guy. This guy is taught in every journalism class all throughout America as a good guy, a hero. Bernays is called the father of spin. From his book called Propaganda, he writes, and I quote, if we understand the mechanisms of the group mind, it is now possible to control and regiment the masses according to our will without knowing it. These are journalists. In his memoirs, he wrote that he was shocked to discover that Nazi PR genius Joseph Goebbels actually kept copies of his writings in his own personal library. Yeah, Goebbels, where's the picture? Here it is. Goebbels, in his library, had his theories, therefore helping to engineer the rise of the Third Reich. He said, quote, Goebbels was using my book, Crystallizing Public Opinion, as a basis for his destructive campaign against the Jews of Germany. This shocked me. Why? Big government, it doesn't matter. You can use it for your socialist or your progressive goals, or you can use it to exterminate people. When you've set it all up, it just depends on who's running it, doesn't it? Of the CPI's war effort, Bernays writes in Propaganda, quote, it was, of course, the astounding success of propaganda during the war that opened the eyes of the intelligent few in all departments of life to the possibilities of regimenting the public mind. It was only natural, after the war ended, that intelligent persons should ask themselves whether it was not possible to apply a similar technique to the problems of peace. You liking him so far? Yeah. Now let me introduce you to Walter Lippmann. This guy wrote a book what is it, The Phantom Public? I couldn't even finish. I've read horrific things. I couldn't finish that man's book. It is so diabolical. Walter Lippmann, one of the most popular and highly revered journalists in history, his views were consistent with Bernays. Here it is. The hypothesis which seems to me the most fertile is that news and truth are not the same thing and must clearly be distinguished. The function of news is to signalize an event. The function of truth is to bring to light the hidden facts, to set them into relation with each other, and to make a picture of reality on which men can act. Only at those points where social conditions take recognizable and measurable shape do the body of truth and the body of news coincide. That is comparatively small part of the whole field of human interest. As he further explains in his diabolical book, Public Opinion, Lippmann believes democratic ideals, we don't have it, he believed that democratic ideals had deteriorated. And voters were ignorant about issues and policies, and they're just dummies. They lacked the competence to participate in public life. They cared very little for the public process. You don't know, you don't care, you don't read those things. He wrote, quoting, that the governing class must rise to face the new challenges. Oh, a governing class. Exactly what our founders wanted. Oh, no, no, no. These people didn't believe in the founders. This guy hated them. When we come back, I'll show you what they created, and it was a great world. And I just want to ask you, when I show you what they've created, if you've seen it again, like now. I'll show you in a minute.